What's up, guys? I'm John Potato, and this is going to be my top 10 basic tips to help you out and escape from Tarkov, whether you're a new player or you've been around for a little while. This probably isn't going to help those guys who have like 2, maybe 3,000 hours in the game, as most of this stuff you probably already know or have been through yourself. Without anything else being said, we're going to jump straight into number one. All right, guys, tip number one is going to be do offline raid so you can get better map knowledge. If you don't know the maps already, you can just Google quickly EFT maps and it should be able to pop up. You should be able to go through a list and see every single map that's there for Escape from Tarkov. Right, so if you go to your PMC here, and go next, select which map you want. I would recommend learning customs first. I feel like it's a good map. It's probably one of the easier ones to learn, and it's got pretty decent loot, and it can help you with your PvP because it's pretty frequent that you're running into players on that map. All right, so we're just going to select here, and then we click Enable Offline Raid. From here, you can change the weather conditions, change the time. You can enable PvE, right? And this is a big thing. So when you first start running around and you don't know where you're going or anything, if you have two monitors, have the map of the area that you're running up on your second monitor and run it offline without PvE. Once you get a bit comfortable, you start learning where all the routes are and everything like that. You know how you kind of like running the game. Turn on PvE, right? You can have everything set as online, or if you want to make it a little bit more hard for yourself, you can change the difficulty. You can change the amount of AI that's on the map. You can enable the boss. You can make yourself tagged and cursed. That there will mean that basically all scavs are going to hunt you down and look for you. All right. Or tip number two, do scav raid. You're basically getting a free loadout given to you every 20 minutes or so when you don't have your hideout built or your intel center and your scav reps neutral. All right. You're going to get free loot. You can get anything from labs cards, stimulants, grenades. You can get good ammunition from them too. And this way here, it gives you a chance to learn a map while playing it in online with no risk to your gear. Right? So you're not going to lose a single thing if you die. It's just whatever is on that scav that you're going to lose, which is essentially nothing. It doesn't cost you a thing. It can just happen every 20 minutes or so. It can help you build your stash back up if you're in a dire situation. Tip number three. All right, this one here is so important that I always see people making the mistake of. Do not over loot. Alright, I generally bring a Burkhardt into raid when it's early wipe. Now I've started bringing tri-zips or betas and that because I know that my strength level's higher. My search skills up, so I'm searching things quicker, so I can still move through areas as quick as I'm used to moving through areas with just picking up that little bit of extra stuff. But what I'll see new people do is they'll fill up their bag with just everything and anything that they find instantly. And then they'll still go and run around to all these different areas trying to loot everything and anything. And then they're just dumping one thing for another thing. At the same time, just granting the risk of dying to a player or a scav that is in that area. So just fill up your bag with what you can or what you need. Don't go running too far out of your way to go look for more loot when you have everything that you could need right there in front of you. All right, guys. Next up, we got sound for number 4. To me, sound is probably one of the biggest things in this game. Right? I know a lot of people run Altons and like your LZSHs and everything like that because it gives them a little bit of face protection. But in my eyes, one BP round can still go through that Alton. I would prefer to know that somebody is coming than somebody isn't coming and then they take me by surprise. Alright, so what I would recommend doing is finding which headset works best for you in game. For me, personally, it's Comtacs. I just like the way that they sound and the way that they bass boost certain noises. A couple of my friends use Swordens. They really recommend them. Tac Sports aren't too far away from them. These aren't the only 3 headsets. There is more. There is cheaper options and there is more expensive options. Some of them will require you to have the flea market as they can only be found in raid and no traders sell them. All right, for number 5, we've got how do I level up so quickly? Obviously, I'm not the highest level in the game, right? There is a lot of people who are higher level than me, but generally within the first week of a wipe, I'll be hitting level 20 almost instantly before I slow down, just so that way there I can get the flea market and everything like that. I believe this wipe, it took me 2 days to unlock the flea market, and I purely did that by focusing on my quest. Quest will give you the best XP that you can get straight off the bat. Whether or not you plan on going for Kappa or anything like that, if you're looking just to get your level up there nice and early, so whether it's to get your traders to level 2 or level 3 nice and fast, or to get your traders to max, or just to unlock the flea market, you need to focus on those quests, because getting those done early will push you straight through, and then from there, you can stop whenever you want, especially if you don't plan on going for Kappa. Number 6 is going to be stoppages. A lot of new people are going to experience these because they're going to do scav runs, take those guns out of raid, and try and use them in a new raid. Your weapon durability does matter and will affect these. So, the best thing I can recommend is setting up a dual bind. So, one press will inspect your weapon, and then you press it twice after the inspect is over, and that there will fix the malfunction. I'll show you how to do that. Okay, so we just jump straight into the settings here. You want to look for inspect current weapon. Mine is set to mouse 3, and it's just set as a press. So this here will inspect the weapon whenever I get a malfunction by me pressing the key. And then when you come up here, you'll see check chamber, fix malfunction. This here is set to mouse 3, and it's set to a double click. This way here, you should have no problems quickly inspecting your weapon to find out what's wrong with it, and then being able to fix it almost instantly, making sure you have no problems so you can get straight back into the fight. As you can see here, I've got a stoppage. I can't click. It's popping up saying that I've got bolt jammed and what key to press. Right? So I press it once, inspects it. Telling me it's a bolt jam. Now I press it twice, and it'll clear the bolt, and then I can start firing again. As simple as that. Number 7 is going to be the hideout. I don't really craft anything in here. Every now and then I might craft like a mag box, or, you know, I might craft some propofol depending if I'm short on it or something like that. And I've got the bits and bobs laying around in my hideout to do that. But the hideout is probably still one of the most valuable things in this game. Once you get the workbench going, it allows you to edit the preset of weapons. That way there, once you've examined all the attachments and everything like that through the flea market and everything like that, you can go through and start working out what your builds are going to be like, whether you like more ergo, whether you like more, like less recoil. This way here, you can find where you fit into your budget, and you can play around with the guns and have a bit of fun learning new things like what pieces can go where and everything like that. Also in your hideout, you've got the library. Right? In your library, you're going to get extra raid experience once you've crafted it, and you're going to get extra practical skill leveling. Addition to that, you can also do your physical leveling by building up the air filtering unit. This here does require an FP100 filter to be in there at all times, and it will require your generator to be on for you to get these bonuses, unlike the library, which will just constantly get those bonuses. Another thing that everybody uses in here is the Bitcoin farm. Okay. I don't personally use it. I did for one wipe, and I had so many Bitcoins that I didn't know what to do with them. I had money coming out of my ears. Then you've got the Scav case. Almost everybody will build this, and everybody will run this as often as they can. I prefer to do moonshine runs, but they're probably not the best. I'm sure people have made guides on the Scav case, so maybe once you get it built, have a look into it and, you know, find out what suits you for how much money you have. Time for number 8. Good rounds over good guns. Okay, now I'm not saying don't kit out your gun at all. I would always recommend trying to chuck some type of sight onto your weapon. Iron sights for some guns are alright. Some of them are really bad. But just having that sight is always going to help you out. Most guns, you can always change them to single fire. Some of them are always locked to single fire. So it might have high recoil, but 3 slow shots is always going to be better than mag dumping a dude that's 40 meters away from you who hasn't seen you yet. If you get taken by surprise, yeah, mag dumping is going to work. But if you've got the time, mag dumping isn't the option. It's better to switch your weapon to single fire fire 3 rounds of good ammo, let's just take, for instance, 7.62 BP rounds. You hit 3 times in the thorax, chances are that person's going to drop. But if you go and shoot them with PS ammo and they're in armor class 4, 3 rounds probably isn't going to be enough. Right? So if you fully deck out a gun and you spend 250,000 rupees building that gun, you now need to hit 8, maybe 9 shots on somebody in armor class 4 versus spending 80k on a gun, running some BP, and only needing to hit 3 shots and just taking that little bit of extra time. Lucky number 9. I can see where people have gone wrong with this. Okay, because in most FPS shooters, when you ADS and you get that bit of weapon sway, you need to hit your left shift key to cancel out that weapon sway and make your character hold the breath. In Escape from Tarkov, that's not the answer. So when you ADS, you can clearly see that there's a decent amount of weapon sway there. What you need to do is hit your left alt key. That there's going to minimize it as much as it can and make shooting at a long distance 1,000 times easier. You would not believe the amount of people that I have had to tell this to, because it's just not explained anywhere and just nobody understands that it's the left alt key instead of the left shift key. Last but not least, gear fear. This is one of the things that I believe just happens over time. A lot of people stress about it, and it never really goes away completely, at least in my eyes. I still get gear fear here and there. It's definitely not as often as it used to be, but I definitely still get it. My biggest recommendation for you guys would be to sell your gear. Okay? If you get a fully decked out gun, right? So like if I got my SR back when I first started playing, I would have never ran this gun. I would have picked it up off the dude and I would have been like, oh my God, look at this thing. And it would have had a wall mounted spot inside my stash. It would not have moved. It would have been visible at all times so I could see it. And I would always tell myself, I'm going to run that gun. I'm going to run it, you know. I don't think it'll be today, but it might be tomorrow. I'm going to run it. And I just never did. End of White would come around and it would still be sitting there looking gorgeous as ever. But I would just never run it. Okay, I would have the exact same thing with armor. I didn't have a problem with running armor class 4, but when it got up to like wearing slicks and corund and everything like that, I would always have a hard time putting it on because I'd be like, do I really want to lose this piece of equipment? Like, it's so good, it's so valuable. Why would I want to risk it? You need to risk it. Okay, you gotta understand that running that gear is going to allow you to survive longer in most cases, unless you get unlucky and get head eyes straight away. Happens to the best of us all the time. You can't avoid it. It's just going to happen. But when it happens so often, you're going to understand that, okay, I lost that slick, but then you're going to get another slick. And once you get another slick, you're going to run that one as well. You're going to be like, all right, this time it's going to go better. It's going to go better. And if you're still scared to run it, the best thing you can do for yourself is to sell it. Run the gear that you're comfortable with running. Every now and then, maybe sit there and be like, all right, I'm going to do a thick run. Okay, and chuck on bigger gear. As you get better and as you get more comfortable, you'll notice your gameplay improving. You won't freak out as much. You won't always try and run from fights that you know you can win just because of what you're wearing on your back. It's going to take time, but everybody eventually loses their gear fear to some extent. Not to say that it's ever going to be completely gone, but there's no point of having 100 guns in your stash that you're never going to touch just because you're worried about losing them. Alright guys, that was my top 10 tips and tricks for new players in Tarkov. I hope you guys enjoyed, and hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.